What is up, my goody gang? And today we are making our college football week 1 video. Even though week 1 is over. What? And it's almost week 2. Shiver me timbers! Starting with Clemson and Georgia, an absolute awful game, 34-3. Clemson absolutely cooking nothing. Kate Klemanik was not helping. The running back was not helping. I assume the wide receivers were not helping. Absolutely everybody was not cooking on Clemson, and everybody on Georgia was absolutely cooking. And it seems like, I'm pretty sure that's the Vanderbilt player. Yes, on Georgia was their best wide receiver. You'd probably say one of the Georgia's old players, one of their 5-star recruit wide receivers would probably be better, but nope. Humphreys, I don't know his first, London Humphreys. Looked like Landon. I knew it was something like that. London Humphreys. Now he's British. That's London Humphreys, the guy of the Georgia Bulldogs and the greatest wide receiver on there. And then also, since now we are talking about London Humphreys, we're going to talk about his running back on the team, Frazier. Is it Nate Frazier? What is it? Nate Frazier. And Nate Frazier was absolutely cooking with 83 yards on 11 carries and 1 touchdown. Everybody on this team was cooking. That's why it was 34-3. Alright, now it's time to yap about another football team. Now it's time to get serious. This is Florida State. If you've heard of them, I hope you're okay, because I hope you're not one of their fans. If you're one of their fans, they are absolutely suffering right now. They lost to Georgia Tech, 24-21. Okay, that's fine. You lost your first game, but you can still win you have a high chance to win your next game against Boston College. They lose by 15 to Boston College. Look, Boston College is a good team with Bill O'Brien, but they are not going to be ranked probably this year. If they get ranked, they are not going to stay ranked. They're decent, but they're not good enough. I think they'll definitely be above 500, like 9-4, around that range. But Boston College is not the greatest team. This is just awful, and DJ Ukulele is playing awful. Or DJ Ukulele. I'm making my YouTube apology with my ukulele, cause I'm so bad. That's what DJ Ukulele should do. He needs his ukulele. That's what DJ Ukulele means. This is just awful, awful, awful. And I hope they lose to UNC, because I'm a UNC fan. Let's lose. Seminoles. Yeah, let's go Chevrolet trucks. I did not mean to open that. Let's go Chevrolet. Yeah. Then our next game with FCS versus Oregon. FCS versus Oregon, yes. You would think the final score would be 67-0 or whatever. I'm not going to say 69, because I know somebody think that's the funny number. Ha ha ha, 69, so funny. Ha! But no, it finished 24-14. How? The quarterback for Idaho had literally under 50% completion percentage. And the running back wasn't cooking either. And yet somehow, it is 24-14, and it was like 17-14 until like 5 minutes remaining into the game. This is awful, 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 Oregon. You gotta do better, Oregon. This is just ridiculous. I can't find the game. They're playing Boise State. I think they're gonna lose against Boise State by 20. That's definitely realistic. And what's funny is that's another Idaho team, I'm pretty sure. Imagine they lose to the other Idaho team. That would be so funny. I just realized one Idaho player has a questionable name. It seems like, yeah, I'm not gonna name him. No, but a player has kind of a questionable name that somebody would think is so funny. because our generation is screwed. And then we got our first FBS egg. Absolutely awful game by West Virginia versus Penn State, the most delicate team ever. Of course, this happens right now. I hate when that happens, or like it does that one thing. Okay, we're gonna have to get this set back up. Yippee! We got it back. Now, anyways, as I was saying before I got interrupted by that scam, West Virginia dropped an absolute egg against Penn State. Very not close at all. 34-12. The quarterback was okay, but Penn State just played a lot better. They have a better defense, better offense, and it makes perfect sense why this was 34-12. And then one of our last eggs. It's Miami versus Florida. How do you lose by this much, Florida? You have Graham Mertz, a decent quarterback. I don't know who their running back is. I have no idea who the other players are on the Florida team. But you have a really good quarterback. You should have played a lot better, but no. You get absolutely blown out by Miami. I mean, it makes sense. Miami has a lot more talent than Florida, which makes absolutely no sense to say if this was like, I don't know, comparing 2010 Miami, like 20... I don't know really how to compare, like 2015-ish Miami, like around the 2010s, like the late 2010s, where Miami was like not that great, and recently Miami has not been that great. It just makes no sense that the score is this bad, but it makes sense now. It makes a lot more sense than it did before. Okay, I'll stop my yapping. Because I cannot speak the English language right now. All I gotta say is Miami better than Florida. Oh, and just one notable thing about this Arizona receiver, McMillan, he's insane. 10 receptions for 304 yards and 4 touchdowns. That is an absolutely insane game by him. He is definitely going to rise up. Yeah, let's go Risers in the draft. He's definitely going to rise in the draft. And also, another notable thing is Cade McNamara absolutely cooking in the side of what offense. I mean, I'm not going to overhype Iowa, but their offense might be amazing this year with Cade McNamara on their new offensive coordinator they hired. And they have a really good defense, so Iowa might be a contender this year, just saying. Now it's time for our second to last notable game, or that's going to be in this video, because, I'm not going to find any other games that anybody cares about, except maybe Abilene Christian and Texas Tech, which I'll just talk about right now. That game was ridiculous. 52-51, Texas Tech barely won by 1 in overtime. That's all I got to say about that game. And now it's time to get into LSU-USC. This game was 27-20. Absolutely an insane game. It was close like the whole time. Best game of the year so far. The best game of the year so far. Miller Moss was absolutely cooking. Both quarterbacks were cooking for a long time. Greg Musselmeyer, that final pass, I don't think it was his fault. I'm pretty sure his receiver didn't turn back fast enough. And the cornerback read that because the receiver wasn't there, so the cornerback got to go back fast enough to pick the ball off. And that's probably why that got intercepted. And that's basically the only reason LSU lost. And there's just the defense didn't clutch up in the end. That defense was absolutely awful in the end. The defense could have stopped them and kept them to a field goal, and they would have had like a chance at least to tie the game up. But the defense just let it up. It was just awful. They shouldn't have let up a touchdown. If I was the coach, I would have let them get the field goal, because getting a field goal is not as bad as letting up a touchdown. And you would have thrown like a Hail Mary and won the game, or gotten really, really close enough to where your kicker could make the kick. That's what I would have done if I was what's his name? Brian Kelly. Then for our last game, we got Vanderbilt versus Virginia Tech. We don't have a lot of time, so I have to go fast. Jones was not really cooking that much, but he did clutch up, but he just did not clutch up enough. And whatever his name is, Pavivo, was really cooking at the end, so that's why Vanderbilt won. Anyways, guys, make sure to like and subscribe, and I did